Hi, my name is Michael, and on today's blog, I want to talk about how injuries throughout my past have led me to choosing to become a physical therapist and why I wanted to pursue this field. When I was younger, I never really got injured. Maybe a strained muscle or uneven hips or something like that, but I never really had anything serious. It wasn't until high school running that I started to hear of these monstrous injuries such as a stress fracture, stress reaction, things like that, which honestly I didn't even know what that meant at the time. And the only reason I ever found out about these was because when I was a sophomore in high school, my one friend ended up getting a stress fracture in his foot, I believe. And so that was probably the first time I actually ever heard of someone I knew personally that had an injury like this. Going back to when I was younger, I really only heard about these injuries while myself, I would only continually get small injuries that would require no longer than maybe a week or two in order to fix and recover fully and get back to running. Whereas when I got to high school and got my first major injury, which I would say was my junior year, really it was, yeah, my junior year, I ended up getting a stress fracture in my left tibia, and this is where it really hit me that injuries like this are really prevalent in running. And during this injury, I was actually required to be in a boot for about a month, followed by another maybe 2 or 3 weeks of no running or things like that, and slowly working my way back to it. And it was only then that I really began to appreciate the healing process that the body must go through in order to heal some major injuries such as this. This process began to intrigue me very much, to the point where I started to think about pursuing a job geared around healing and learning about things like this. Becoming a doctor would have taken too long, and I don't really have the patience for that considering the amount of schooling and then residencies and things like that it would take. So I didn't want to be an assistant of any sort, so I started to narrow my search. And upon several visits to a physical therapist myself when I was rehabbing from being injured and things like that, it really began to narrow down my search, and this was definitely the thing that I wanted to pursue. So I would say that I have known I wanted to pursue this career since, I don't know, 8th grade, maybe freshman year. So it's been a while, and even though I've heard a lot of nasty things about graduate school and things like that, it's never really deterred me from wanting to continue to be a physical therapist or anything like that. And it's kind of motivated me even more, honestly, because like knowing that it's hard and people think that it's difficult and things like that, and it makes me want to do it even more, just to to prove that I can do it, and prove to myself that it's something that I can achieve and succeed at. Also, I wanted to pursue this career because it not only focused on the healing process of the human body and things like that, but it also focuses on what actually happens. So things like how to speed up recovery time so an athlete will be able to return to the field quicker, or how an individual that isn't an athlete can just get back to their daily life in a normal fashion and quickly. The body is such an amazing, complex organism that can heal itself in so many ways, which was another reason I chose physical therapy. I'm really intrigued by how many ways, and in what ways a person heals best. Plus, experimental treatments that are coming out now seem to be pretty promising, such as replanting a person's own stem cells within their body in order to aid treatments and things like that are just crazy and something that you never thought you would be able to hear about, and especially if it works as efficiently as they say it will. Another reason that I wanted to do PT is because I can work with athletes, and as a former athlete in their situation many times, I believe that I'm able to gain a better understanding of what they are going through, how they feel, and everything else. And it'll help me connect to these student athletes more easily, and maybe even it'll possibly help them faster. Along with these athletes, I will also find it interesting to peer into the window of other people's lives and get to know them a little, and in some cases I may even act like a real therapist, as I've seen from shadowing things like that. Some people really like to talk and even vent, things like that. So I really like that personal aspect that a physical therapist has with their patients, and just getting to know them. The final reason I wanted to get into physical therapy is because even though I know that athletic training is something totally different, in the past, as a high school athlete, I have had some poor athletic trainers, and maybe even as a college athlete, I've had some poor athletic trainers, and it just motivates me even more because I know I can make a more positive impact on these young athletes and help diagnose them properly when they need to, and avoid injuries and being off the field, court, track, whatever it may be. And I just feel like properly treating them, and it'll just improve their experience they have while being an athlete. And overall, I've been pretty dead set on this career path, as I stated earlier, since I was about an eighth grader or a freshman, so that'd be about 6 years. And I really plan on continuing to work towards this, my major, and then also work towards graduate school and things like that. So as I progress towards entering into my first year of graduate school, I'm really excited to just take the next step and hopefully have a positive impact on the people that I can help in the future. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.